the Lord is a great God. We're focusing on how we can worship the Lord collectively and corporately with a crowd of people. And look at verses 3, 4, and 5. The next few slides, they say this: For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. What's the psalmist doing? The psalmist is using creation to demonstrate how great God is. This is one of my favorite ways of recognizing how great the Lord is by just looking up at the stars or taking a look at creation when I'm out in the woods, or if I find myself in a mountainous place. It's like, wow, Lord, how can anyone deny that you even exist, let alone your greatness as well? And why do we do that? And it's healthy for us to sing and worship God about his greatness, like we did tonight. Greater is the one who's in us. He will never fail, because our God is stronger than everything that people exalt as powerful. So our God is greater than our economy. Our God is greater than a legal system. Our God is greater than anything that medicine can say or do. And I'm not putting any of those things down. I'm just saying whatever seems powerful to us as far as what's in the earth, God is greater. God is greater. So God's greater than COVID. Amen? God's greater than the governments in the world. He's greater than corruption. He's greater than those things that trouble us. Those things that make you really stressed or just freaked out going on in the world. The Lord's stronger than all of it. And that's why your praise is so important. Because if your focus is on those things more than God, that's where defeat sets in. But if our focus is on God, in the midst of all that, that's when victory rises. It's all about your focus. Now, the next section, right in the middle of page 2, is titled Worship Through Reverence. Now, this is when things kind of quiet down a little bit. Okay? And there are some people that like to be loud that don't like this part of worship. And I met them. Like when I was in Bible college, you had your guys, usually from the South, but you had these guys, they just love to be loud. Even at 2 in the morning in the prayer room, they love to be loud. And it's just like, wow, wow. And really, they kind of measured their spirituality based on the volume levels of their praise, which was kind of interesting. And again, there's room for giving God jubilant, excitable praise. But then now, in verses 6 and 7, we have this moment where things kind of get reverent and very quiet. And that can be just as powerful. Have you ever been in a room with about 1,000 people and not a sound is made? That's powerful. It's one thing if they're all going to do the wave, which, by the way, I hate the wave. I refuse to do it. If you ever want me to do the wave, not going to happen. Let's get back to our study. So you could have 1,000 people yelling and cheering and wanting to do the wave, but if you got 1,000 people in a room and there's not one sound, that's powerful. In fact, I will be honest with you, maybe you're like me, I almost get nervous when there's no sound, when there's no background noise. I will even type on my computer, on my recliner, and be focused on that, but I got to have the TV on so I could have background noise. I don't even know what I'm watching, but just, Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. And it's funny how I am so attuned and programmed to function in the midst of noise. Stan.
I think about the prophet when he went out to Balaam. The Lord said, I'll pass by you this day. And he said, he wasn't in the thunder, wasn't in the lightning, he wasn't in the wind, but then he heard a still, small voice.
Yeah.
And he covered his face because he knew the Lord was passing by. Sometimes that still, small voice is all you need.
Yeah. And it is just as powerful as the thunder and the wind. And look at verses 6 and 7. Well, first of all, let's look at the first section. The first section here kind of talks about that, just what Stan's saying. And we have identified that as the words come in. Okay, come in. Verse 1 was an invitation to come along with the crowd and worship. Now, the invitation is to basically go from the big procession and the parade of people going to church together to come inside and to be a part of this moment where it goes from being a family affair now to an individual time. Do you see the balance that's taken place here? Do you see the importance of both? We're gonna analyze that, okay? Next,